Hi, so let's jump into this. I wanted to show my character's passives and some other things that I'm starting to work on with this character. I've really more developed with the Tech Adept that I'm playing in Seasonal. Um, and I haven't yet applied all of it to my Psycher, but I want to. But first, let's just start off looking at the heat tree. So in the heat tree, the only ones that I don't take, I don't use the weapons. I don't use guns or whatever. So this might have to do with either my warp heat or a guns heat, I think, but either way, I don't want it because my warp heat's always pretty low. I try to keep it low. I hate when demons come in and like kill people I'm trying to protect. And then over here, I didn't want to lower my chance for getting criticals, so I didn't pick that one. I do like dealing critical. I like generating burn. When I can generate burns, I then also use spontaneous combustion to do like plus 1000% more damage, and that is usually like what I use to kill like hard to kill characters and stuff like that. But what I've become more fascinated with recently is this vulnerability thing. What I've read is that when you add a vulnerability, you do 10% more of that damage type. So if you do like 100 points of damage, you'll do now 110. And now I'm dealing a lot of criticals because my character has a critical hit chance of 42%, and then also when he's enraged, there's several factors that boost up his critical hit chance. So over 50% of his hits are criticals, generates a lot of enraged tokens, also generates a lot of burn. And it generates a lot of vulnerabilities. So when you do a stack, I'm not sure how big the stack is. I think maybe it's 10, maybe it's more than that. But you're talking about for every vulnerability you add, you do 10% more damage. They add the vulnerabilities together. So at first you do 110 points of damage, then you do 120 points of damage. You can go up pretty high. So you can do like plus 200, plus 4, plus 300 maybe. You can at least double and I think maybe triple your damage just on vulnerabilities. And you can get vulnerabilities from other sources. So I have this heat vulnerability. I think it's possible you can add a general vulnerability stack. I don't know. It might be possible to have more than one heat vulnerability stack. So on top of that, I also have been getting some gear that has some rules that adds like plus 17% effectiveness to the vulnerability. This one, I got rules like that scattered all over. Plus 18 effectiveness, plus 18%. And what that does is we just round up. Let's just say I have that rule elsewhere too, plus 17%. If we just said that was like plus 60%, 60% total, that would mean instead of doing 110 points of damage, I'm doing 116. Or when I get 2 stacks, I'm doing like 100, 200. I'm doing 132. Then I'm doing 148. So when you boost your vulnerability debuffs, you're really directly impacting the resultant damage. And so it's another angle to improve your output substantially. So adding the heat vulnerability has become something I learned while using my Tech Adept, because the Tech Adept, I really am dependent on adding vulnerabilities so my robots do the work. But now I'm backporting that knowledge a bit to my Psycher and going to emphasize a bit more improving adding heat vulnerabilities and boosting what heat vulnerabilities do. So one thing I need to do, for example, is I need to put more uncreator SOM codes into my gear. Maybe instead of this damage reduction, for example. And a lot of my gear, I don't know why I'm doing the critical hit strength. A lot of my gear is set up so that I do a bunch of SOM doctrines. So I'm kind of committed to some suboptimal SOM codes, but I would love to add some more uncreator SOM codes into my gear. And one also that I've been interested in is the Ordinus. The Ordinatus SOM code is also very destructive to at least like high-end characters because they have high-end armor. So Ordinatus, let's see if I have a few. This one. So if a character is heavily armored, this really just can diminish that greatly, especially if you have a few of them scattered. I might work the Ordinatus SOM code, but I am more interested in the Uncreator generally. Uncreator will directly multiply. So this adds 50%. So just this SOM code alone I have 7 of them. I think I can sprinkle some of this in. And this is going to boost my offense substantially. But let's get back to my passive tree first before we go on to that sort of stuff. So this is heat. Damage over time. I love setting stuff on fire and just kind of watching these characters burn until they explode. I got everything in it except for this one that's focused on bleeding. I actually do. I love homeopathic drain or whatever that spell is, and I actually miss like my force sword where I could bleed major characters and they'd usually die. Oh, people trying to socialize. I'm being a bum. I'll talk to Ray in a bit. So I'm not using any spells. I'm like all focused on heat. I'm not really using anything that bleeds, so I didn't select that one. And then I also chose like something I think that does something for poisoning. I think I had to do this in order to select this one because I tend to have a pile of DOTs that get put onto these enemies, like whether it's from exterminate or if it's from just molten beam, stuff like that. All my channeled stuff creates a lot of DOTs and side effects, stuff like that. So get a lot of bonus damage out of that. And then my DOTs last a long time, and then just bonus DOTs everywhere I can get it. Again, the poison one I only selected so I could do this one in the middle. Okay, over here in critical hits, I got everything, but I'm sad I had to pick this one. I don't want to diminish my average production so I could boost my critical hit chance, but I did want to get this because I get a lot of critical hits with my channeled weapons because I'll just constantly stream attacks, and then those attacks add up, so it's another source of multiplying my damage production. And yeah, I love reducing warp heat. My character runs with low warp heat. And suppression's valuable because I find, slowing the enemy down can be valuable at times. So in Psychic, I mostly was focused. It's kind of funny because I'm not all that into force weapons, but I think when I first plotted this, I was more into force weapons. But I got away from Witchfire, so maybe this isn't as important to me now. If this is Psychic Combat, let's see which ones are the ones I think are best. I don't know, do I use this at all? I might have to take a look at how I'm using this tree because I don't feel like I'm using it at all. The one that I'm actually more interested in is here in the debuffs. These are the ones I think are more valuable. But in a second, let's take a look at my powers and see what I use on them in order to judge which of these passives are actually good. Armor breaking, I definitely want because I want armor piercing. You don't want to find yourself unable to hurt your enemies, and if you find yourself on a mission with like heavily armored and armored enemies, it's important that you can pierce it pretty easily. Okay, and then I can add vulnerabilities through my powers too, in addition to what my passive does. So I'm sure, I use one of these to like expand the AoE of, well, some of my psychic powers I've definitely juggled what their sub-arcana attributes are. So over here in the support area, warp heat, stuff to reduce warp heat. I don't know if I value that very much. Now that I'm looking through this, I feel like I could shave some passive points and reassign them elsewhere. But in the meantime, let's just look at what we're doing. Stuff that helps me cast faster. Yeah, it helps to have more inoculator capacity sometimes, I think. So in Radical Path, I think I had something more. Oh yeah, before I was level 100, it was useful to have plus 15 experience gained, but after level 100, I got rid of that. Just stuff that, I love those big numbers when I do big critical hits, so that one's just kind of fun. Could probably stand to do more defense. Certainly my Tech Adept has more defense, and then ratchet up these values. But I guess I put those values, those sources elsewhere. Here, a lot of investment into cooldowns, and then some stuff so I walk faster too. I have to keep up with players like Ray, and they put a lot of stuff in their speed. So we already looked at critical. So in ranged combat, I stopped short of getting that, but I was interested in some of these things because my psychic powers are mostly at range, so might as well invest in this. This bonus range, bonus benefits to get criticals. Nothing in psychic attacks, huh? Support, defense. I think we've looked at everything. Area effects. Let's look at that. So things that just boost the area, especially for exterminate. But I didn't finish it out. I liked doing enhanced range because I felt like Molten Beam. You could really tell Molten Beam had a longer range when I first did it. Well, I don't know exactly what that means. If you have, there must be some characters whose melee are area effect spells too, so that's cool. But I did that so I could get on my way to getting a longer range on my Molten Beam. So these not terribly efficient choices on several parts of my skill tree. It's definitely things that can be reassigned, and I think the places I would reassign them, I want to find out if I can boost vulnerabilities. Like here, plus 5% damage bonus for each debuff effect. So a DOT is itself a debuff. So the DOTs and the vulnerabilities reinforce each other. So what is this? This is under debuffs. Yes. So as I this was definitely my first goal when I went up this tree, was to be able to cool my Warp Heat, and doing a little extra bonus damage. It's great. Okay, so I didn't get this one, which I would love to get it, but I'm not sure. I might reevaluate this, but at the time I just didn't think Slow Shock Stun all that particularly valuable. Shock debuff. So if I could get 7 passive points together, I could get this. I'll have to evaluate sort of where I want those to come from. I think I was looking at like psychic combat, and I wasn't too enthused by that, especially because I really use fewer and fewer psychic weapons. Although I use my Aether Blade, but I don't really use it for damage reduction. I use my Force Rod, but I don't really use that either for damage production. I use that to like cool off my Warp Heat, or I use it to set stuff on fire because it'll always set something burning, and then I can use spontaneous combustion. I'll definitely look at optimizing that further. Let's take a look at my actual psychic powers and try to take note of which one of these things I'm using on my main loadout, which this is my main loadout. See down here, my Force Rod, Molten Beam, Aether Blade, Extermination, Spontaneous Combustion, and yet another teleport. I started using this teleport thing. I used to always use Warp Armor, but then I got this really cool morality armor, but then it turned out it was the wrong morality. I couldn't use it. But using that armor and not understanding I couldn't use it, I got really into using the teleport again. And so then when I got rid of that armor, I decided to keep using the teleport. Teleport's useful because you don't need a direct path. Aether Blade does require a path to somewhere. Okay, so let's take a look here. What I actually have selected is I gained some shield charge from Molten Beam. So I do more shield drain than I do life drain because if I'm taking hit point damage, it's time for me to run away, is my attitude. But if my blue thing is getting hurt, that's in the realm of okay. And so like when my red diminishes, I just run away. But in the meantime, I want to just keep my blue juiced, and I use shield drain to try to do that. This just boosts the power of it. I think that's one of the freebies you get. And then armor piercing. Molten Beam's definitely a jack of all trades, or just a very useful tool. So this also does, because extermination just does a lot of damage to a lot of things in an area, it's really powerful as a shield generator. I just love that it leaves these columns of fires around that the enemies walk through. They get, not only do they take heat damage when they get touched by these heat columns, because of my passive tree, they can also be set to burning from it and start taking DOT damage. So this also adds vulnerability, so it's an additional vulnerability stack upon my enemies from Exterminate. Yeah, so that one's valuable. So plus 2, is that one from the offense, or that's a vulnerability too? So that's Exterminate. So now we're looking at Spontaneous Combustion. This is the one I use to kill single individual enemies, but it's very powerful sometimes. So I boost power's effectiveness, add the chance to critical, so hey, why not get the crit? And armor piercing, so I don't ever have to worry about someone just like, you know, brushing off my attack. Alright, first off, let's just take a look at optimizing my gear a little bit, since it's been a while. So, I don't think I need that damage reduction. I bet I need it, but I also really want this vulnerability, the Uncreator Psalm added. We'll see. If I start taking way too much damage, I'll move on from it. So over here, my Psychic Post. It's fun doing the critical hits, but I do think I just want to boost my vulnerability production. So right here is a song code. I don't want to disrupt. It's a song code. So on my Tech Adept, I don't have as many operational song codes because they don't really often do as much for the Tech Adept, or at least the style of play that I have, that they do for my Psycher. So my Psycher much more invested in these Psalm doctrines. Okay, so I added those. I don't think the Ordinance is really great for this guy, especially with all the armor piercing stuff I have. I'm gonna have to sort through all this at some point. A lot of nice gear. Alright. Alright, so let's get a mind reset and take a look. Do I really want to mind reset this one? What do I have? I think I have that one. Man, which one of these was like boosting my shield? Alright, let me go back and look at which purple ones I actually want to make sure I protect. Over here I got Warp Energy Redirection. Okay. Also Warp Energy Redirection. Exploit Weakness. Alright, so if I undo that passive tree, I assume I'm going to lose it. Alright, so we got to look for Warp Heat Redirection right there. And Exploit Weakness. Alright, so I'm going to reclaim all those because that's, you know, incredible number of passives, and I'm not taking advantage of them. Of course, I want that one. That one. Alright, before I move forward, let's just fix what I did. My psychic powers. Alright, and let's go take a look at our passives again. Sorry, I'm like talking so much, I'm dry in my throat. Okay. I was thinking, man, if I had 7 of these, I could get that. So I guess I'll do that. What? Oh, I'm so dumb. I would have to go all the way up this tree too. At least I do armor piercing. I don't feel like that's a waste. We'll see. I might have just misspent those points. I didn't even see the left half over here. I ought to pay better attention. You know, the thing is that I do like having plus 5% critical hit bonus chance. But I can get that from like my gear. I can get something that gives me plus 6%. So is it really worth those passives? I don't think it is. So I'm gonna spin it on that. Ranged combat reset. I might come back and do these range damage bonuses because, I don't know, 12% seems, I don't know, 12%, is that, what am I lamenting here? Come on. Here we go. Alright, so I'm hoping that this dirty fighting is a pretty big force multiplier. We'll have to find out. Am I slowing enemies? I think I might have some slow on critical hit stuff going, but I'm going to save the passes I have right now. I'm going to save what I have. Let's just go play a hard level. I don't want to do a rescue. I think I would just get thumped. Been learning more about Empyrean seals playing in seasonal. There's some of those seals let you play and fight soul grinders, which is pretty fun. All right, I'm not up for a soul grinder right now. I can tell you that. I'm actually thinking I might be rusty on my Psycher. I've been playing my Tech Adept a lot. So I might be a little out of shape on my Psycher. A thrice cursed trinity of evil. So the power of 3, just like the TV show of Charmed. Thrice cursed trinity of evil. Is there a
The very existence of this filth defiles the Imperium. They may be great in numbers, but if we sever the head, the body will die. Kill their leaders and break their will.
You see how as the damage gets done to them, it gets bigger and bigger over time. That's the effect of the vulnerabilities. So at first, it's very meager because of the minus and percent modifiers against me. But I gotta play it safe. I'm not a tough guy. I gotta remember that. So exterminate's my friend, especially because I can't see anything. This is kind of ridiculous. But with exterminate, I don't have to aim. So it's not the worst hindrance that I can't actually see. Sometimes it's a little easier to look at the map. Yeah, I'm starting to do big numbers on my damage. That's really the power of the vulnerability stack. With all the other stuff I'm doing. Enrage tokens, etc., etc. Holy cow. Oh. Alright. That's the price I pay. This is the price I pay for playing a glass cannon and talking too much. Alright, let's kill these people. Win this game. I don't really have to fight everyone. I'm not as powerful as Judge Dredd. I've seen some of his playthroughs, and that's pretty incredible. So I think a lot of those powerful builds I see these days are done with Berserk tokens, which I totally respect. It's pretty cool. It's not my ideal way to play because you essentially have to take damage in order to generate Berserk tokens, in order to get all your multipliers. So your health is constantly declining, but you're constantly generating huge numbers of health. It's pretty funny, but it actually dictates a very defined way of playing the game. You can't play it cagey, you can't back off, you have to like get shot constantly. You guys should just die already, alright? I can't? That was pretty bad for me. Oh, that's right. Am I doing slow? Whoa, I better go. Alright. Playing cagey means kind of keeping my shoulder on the sideline so that I don't have to face being surrounded. I can control the flow of the enemies towards me through these narrow channels. I take advantage of the fact that I can shoot them through actual objects with this weapon, Molten Beam. Okay, guys, you gotta hit people if you're gonna kill them. Yeah, and I got slow on him. I think I was only like a 60% chance of slow. But it happens pretty often. And it's pretty valuable. Okay, I'm just gonna go wide. See if I can actually confront the villain. I don't know if I'm gonna win. I'm pretty rusty. I'm not that good of a player. I think I have a fun Psycher though. You don't always have to play at level 118. And this guy does not die. There we go. Alright. Who's the big kahuna? I hope it's not like a sorcerer. I bet it is. I would even rather it was like a dreadnought. Okay. That thing can kill me if it hits me with that orange thing on the ground. And it also has like, I don't know, harpoons it shoots? You don't want to get caught by the harpoon. Alright, burn. Why aren't you burning? Slow is super critical for me, actually. I forgot about that. My ability to slow down these important, like, foes. Oh, gosh. Alright, hopefully I regenerate fast enough to take advantage of this health.
I'm afraid that's our last shot. Don't fail the Imperium.
Maybe you send some backup? My jerk-ass Space Marine? Whoa. These guys have no manners. He would say that even if they weren't Chaos guys because of their bad manners. Move! Ah, crud. Just a wall of hit points I have to get through. Is this doing anything? Yeah. Add some hit. Oh, move. Move. There you go. Set this guy back on fire, dude. Oh, yeah. Don't want to get hit by that. Or that.
Duty prevails.
I feel like that's sort of a metaphorical statement. I don't really get it. Duty prevails? How did duty kill that thing? Alright, get that chest. Burn those guys.
Who are you
Kill
to
them.
stand against me?
They don't seem to be able to reach me. I shall exploit that. See the numbers get bigger because the critical hits add more vulnerabilities. It's beautiful. Ouch. I really don't like these grenadier guys. Better move. I'm a little trapped. I don't want to be trapped.
Repent.
There's no repent. Not for these guys. I bet some of them wish they could because... Alright, before I try to even confront that, would it be nice if I had some medical stuff? Looks like I'm gonna have to do this without many more health boosters. Move, dude. Alright. Did I get ya? Better move. Oh. Ah. Alright. This slow thing is like my biggest advantage because it just takes forever to kill these tougher foes, Space Marines with all their toughness, whatever level of Space Marine that guy was. It takes forever to kill them. It takes forever to kill these bosses. They have so many hit points, you just whittle them down, but you get a lot of critical hits. You get a lot of these slow on critical hits. It's a major part of my gaming. Well, these are about the stunts. That's actually more fun at lower levels. I forget which one or how it is I'm generating the slow, but I appreciate it very much. His health was regenerating, so I can't just let him. Jeez. I kind of wish these big guys would hurt each other. Alright, my shield drain is the only thing kind of keeping me healthy. This guy, too stupid to turn around and look at me. Better move this way. Guy sounds like a clogged garbage disposal. I'm just giving this guy the death he probably wants, from what I understand. This thing might be full on a demon machine, demon engine at this point. I don't know.
Duty prevails.
Alright, I didn't even die once. Those shotguns, they can actually do quite a bit of damage. Don't want to be caught in a crossfire between like 3 or 4 of these dudes when I'm so vulnerable. Disco Inferno. Alright, so hopefully I can defeat this last foe. If not, it's okay. I think this is a good build. It's not the best build in this video game, but I think you can definitely play like a burny, fiery Psycher at very high levels and have a lot of fun. I've been really blown away by some of the playthroughs I see that are much more focused on... why am I not hitting exterminate? Much more focused on berserk tokens. Those are, I think, more powerful, but not really the way I want to play it. At least not with this character. Maybe one day I'll make a Puritan. Alright, exterminate guy, come on. Get this guy, fool. Oh, better move. Well, maybe being next to the edge was making my... sometimes I thought I could pull my mouse cursor into a place that it's impossible for my character to actually navigate to. Look at some strange, uncomfortable behaviors. If you wanted them to witness it, then maybe you should have left them alive. Dude, don't go there. So now I start feeling like, oh, gotta get away. Gotta get away from that. I was about to talk about how great I am at the Harlem Globetrotters, and then that guy skewered me. If I keep don't get burned. If I keep a decent distance for a little bit of time, I can generate my shields back off of shield drain. Keep them slowed. I don't have to win this in a hurry, but it's safer to win it in a hurry. I mean, the faster you can kill these foes, the less dangerous they are to you. Get away, get away, get away. Okay, I see what I need. Over here, this is a medical supply. I think that can help me. Burn them. Oh, don't trigger more enemies. I don't want to fight them. Ooh, dude. Okay, I could use some more crits right now. Diminishing my critical chance 5%. It actually is 1 in 20. I mean, 5% is 1 in 20, so it matters when you diminish it. Still, I think I can make up for it pretty easily. Okay. I'm gonna kill this guy, hopefully, and have some enraged tokens left over. And then we can see what my percentage is when I'm maxed out. I feel like the numbers don't get very big. My vulnerability stuff, maybe this guy has... Ha. And there I was, so smoked and died. I did hit my inoculator, but...
The burden of failure
right through it.
is the most terrible punishment of all.
Well, you saw me lose. It happens. But I think my character's still pretty fun. I might look into ways to make him better still. Still a work in progress.